Guys, thanks so much for taking your time out. You're just hanging around for the next 30 minutes or so, depending on the questions. If you have any questions at any time, do just shout them out. Okay, I'm sure you will about what to eat and how to prep and everything. So I'll go through a lot on the board, and it might answer your questions along the way. Okay? So the challenge, this is a reset challenge. It's only short term. Okay, it's only for 4 weeks. We're focusing on a reset challenge just so we can start integrating like positive progressions into our diet. Okay, we're not looking to just wipe this out for the rest of our time this year or anything like that. We're just trying to wipe it out for the next 4 weeks. Okay, we got 4 points to go through throughout the 4 weeks that you need to tick the box every day at the end of your day. Okay, first one is eat real food. Second one is not too much. Third one is mostly plants, and the last one is sleep 7+ hours. Okay, that's a big one as well. We'll go through a lot with that one. The first one, we eat real food. There's 3 things to notify what real food is. The first one is, it has no ingredient list. Okay, so if you're looking at something, you're like, is this real food? I don't have a clue. Does it have an ingredient list? Okay, if you turn it around, there's loads of stuff on the back. The second one has a short shelf life. Okay, so can you put, like, did you ever see that picture of the avocado and I think it was like a McDonald's burger or something? It was going around social media a couple of years ago, and you could see it was left there for weeks and weeks, and the avocado had nothing left within a week, and the burger was still looked the exact same when it came off the grill. Okay, so that's what we mean by a short shelf life. So if you put it on the shelf, would it stay there long? The third one I don't have up there is, was it once alive? Okay, was it running around the place, or was it growing out of the ground? That's another thing. Was it once alive, or was it made in a factory or that? That's another thing. Okay? The second one is not too much. What we are saying is 3 meals a day. Something in around that. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay? Meal sizes are also another thing that's really important. With our breakfast, have a big breakfast. Especially if you're working and you start at 7 or 8 a.m. and you don't have your lunch till 12 or 1. That's a big gap of no food, and you're going to be flat out in work. So have a big breakfast that's going to preserve you till your next meal. That's the key. If you're having 3 meals a day and your meals wouldn't even fill a budgie, like, you're not going to get anywhere with this. You're going to be starving, and once you start starving, you know yourself, you go to bread, you go to all these snacks that you just need to fill the need. Okay? So have big meals. With the next one, not too much. We talk about snacks, and that's another big thing that you're going to have to slap yourself in the face with for the next 4 weeks. Snacks. Try avoid snacks, but if you do, we are saying veg and fruit. Okay? Veg and fruit for snacks. Feel free to take a picture of the board when you're finished, when the talk is finished.
What about nuts?
Lunch. Nuts. Yeah, nuts.
Sean,
Nuts, of course.
Sean has
Nuts and seeds. Of course. Nuts and seeds. Yeah. Nuts and seeds. Of course. Of course. That's awesome.
He has them in his mouth right now.
Of course you can eat nuts. Of course.
How many nuts?
As many as can fit.
Salty nuts?
2. No, obviously try to avoid the KP nuts, like, you know, your standard pub nuts, alright? Don't, just stay away from all those. Try to have natural nuts, cashew nuts, things like that. There you go. Guinness has enough in it. Mostly plants says it as it is, mostly plants in your meals, okay? So when you're looking at your dinner plate, I have a little example here. This is what the plate should look like when you're looking at an aerial view of it. So loads of veg. Half the plate should be veg. And the best thing about this one is you stack it as high as you can. Okay? More veg the better. It's going to fill it up. It's going to fill up your meals. Again, having a big meal. It's going to go back to that. Protein and carbs or any, just divide it up like that. So a quarter of the plate, protein, a quarter carbohydrates. Okay? The big thing about carbohydrates, you probably have a question as well. Can I eat carbohydrates in the evening? Yeah, you can. There's nothing, that's not going to change the carbohydrate and what does. Okay, no, it doesn't really matter. So if you have a carb in the evening, if you have a dinner plate like this and you finish work at 7 o'clock and you're home at 8 or 9, and you're like, oh, carbs in the evening, I don't know what to do, like everyone's always saying it online and all, just eat the carbs, no one gives a shit. You're training at such high intensity in here, you need carbohydrates. And do not eliminate macros from your diet. Please do not do that. We need macros, they're there for a reason. Okay? Macrohydrates, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Micros are like your Your nutrients. Your nutrients. No, you're good. This is all. It reminds me of college. Your micronutrients. Your micronutrients. So they're all your nutrients instead of that. Electrolytes. All right. So in order to be successful in all of these things, this is probably the main thing. Preparation. Okay. Preparation is your main thing. There's 3 steps to preparation. First one, for successful preparation. You had Tupperware in the group chat yesterday. Did y'all get your lunch boxes, yeah? And shopping. That's number 1. Okay, shopping. So make sure you shop, just make sure you get a big shop and you execute everything that you want on your list. So don't skip anything on your list or anything like that. So once you shop, if you don't get your weekly shopping, you can't prepare. We can't go to the next 2 steps. And in order to prepare, we need all 3 steps. That completes it. Okay? So with your shopping, get it like here, get a big massive shopping list, okay? And just fill it up with loads of real foods. The next one down is cooking. We have a great thing called the internet now. We don't need to go off and do a course. Do a course on how to cook and be best friends with Gordon Ram or any of the boys. Alright? You don't have to do any of that. If you're all on Instagram, Instagram's probably the best thing, and that's where actually I kind of learned how to cook. Besides leaving my home ec, but cooking I learned more from Instagram. Okay, there is literally, because of our short attention span nowadays, there is like a minute video on the internet. If you follow all these cooking pages, they will show you how to throw everything into a wok and fry it up. It's easier than you think. It's easier than you think. Cook. Learn how to cook. Learn how to cook, okay? And the last one is freeze. Freeze. That's another big thing that I do, okay? So when you buy meat, we all know meat goes off fairly quickly, chicken breasts and all that. So if you get a bulk of chicken breasts, an 8-pack, a 12-pack, 16-pack, take out 2, wrap them in cling film, stick them in the fridge, right? The rest of them go in separate bags into the freezer. And the night before, take out a chicken breast, let it defrost. When you wake up in the morning, it's ready to go. Okay, that's what you do, prepare your meat and freeze your meat. Okay, also another thing is, you can take out about 6 chicken breasts or whatever, cook each meal, there's loads of different meals in your new Tupperware from Dunstores or whatever you got, Central, and then freeze the meals. That's okay. Yeah, you are losing a bit of freshness out of it, but it's all preparation. It's all going to work in the end. Okay? So, does anyone have any questions about preparation?
Can you buy frozen veg already?
Can you buy frozen veg?
Yeah.
Frozen.
Okay.
I buy, yeah. I think definitely that would be okay with it.
I think yes, as long as there's no ingredient list on it,
Yeah.
like it's just broccoli frozen, go for it.
Cool.
It's the same thing as buying it fresh and freezing. As long as there's 0 ingredient list on it, yeah.
I'd be the same. Like when I'm living on my own, like I can't afford loads of fresh veg or go out and fucking grow an allotment. You know what I mean? Start picking things. You know what I mean? I don't. So I do. I get frozen veg. It's just easier, it's more convenient. But definitely not that microwave. You know the microwave pack of vegetables. You love those?
They're so soggy.
Oh no. They break my heart. I hate them. Are you okay, Claudia?
What about condiments? Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. Alright, we're getting a bit giggity here now. So, salt and pepper.
Hot sauce.
You need to avoid that. Again, there's going to be, if you do a sauce, that's definitely not there. Sauce. You're a big sauce head.
Yeah, love sauce, love condiments.
Go ahead.
Spices are going to be your friend. If you're somebody that loves cooking with sauces, guys, for the next few weeks, they're going to have a long ingredient list. They're going to be out for the 4 weeks, or at least that's our aim. If you like flavour in your food and you don't like everything extra mild, spices. As long as it's just ground down peppers, ground down chilies, whatever it is, add those to your food. Add it to your chicken when you're cooking it. That'll add flavour. Salt and pepper is fine. Don't go overboard with salt, but you'll be fine with it. But add spices, not the sauces, if you can avoid it.
What about tin? Tin chickpeas, tin
No, haven't really listened.
What about kidney?
This is the thing. This is for a short term. This is like it's a serious reset challenge. Like this is. It's going to be so. Oh, Mary. Now, listen up, guys. The thing is, oh, go ahead.
Can I repeat the question just because a few people don't
Oh, yeah,
understand?
sure.
So, tin food. That's going to fall into the long shelf life category. So, try and avoid them for the 4 weeks. And I know it's tomatoes, but it's tomatoes with acid and whatever else that's in it. So that's an ingredient list. That's what we're going to try and get out of here for the next 4 weeks. So if you can avoid them, do. And add in real tomatoes, chop them up, bag them, freeze them if you need to. But if it's something that you really, really need, once a week. It's not going to be the end of the world. You just won't be able to score your points for that day.
If we're cooking like a steak, can we fry it into butter or?
Yes. Butter is perfectly fine. Yeah. We didn't cover yogurts. I know one or two, I think Orla, I was talking to you about yogurts during the week. We had a big long chat about that later in the week. So milk and yogurt we're going to say are out for the next 4 weeks. Out? Out. The reason is, yes. What?
Yeah, unless you go out and get your book and milk the cow yourself, like, you can't.
The reason is, it's very easy to eat a lot of them, and then it gets into that grey area of, well, can I have milk with my tea? Or milk with my coffee? No. You cannot is the answer. And that is the same as last year. That's the same as we did last year. And having it milk with your meal and just not with coffee, that kind of thing, gets very grey. So just cut it out for 4 weeks. No one's going to die without milk for 4 weeks.
What about the flavored green tea?
Flavoured green tea?
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Are those tea bags not processed?
Well, you don't
It's
eat
just
them,
tea.
it's just infused.
So is coffee. So is coffee. Tea is processed, yeah, but so is coffee. We're not going to take that.
Almond milk, no, that's even worse. Because almonds don't make milk themselves, so like that's definitely made. It's definitely chopped up. Not that I know of. So yeah, definitely not almond milk. Definitely not. That's.
So what do you have for breakfast if you're not out of milk?
Eggs.
So you can't scramble eggs then?
You can't. Of course you can't.
Put milk in scrambled eggs.
I never use milk to scramble my eggs.
No way. Oh
It's just mashed up eggs.
no. No, don't add milk into your eggs.
For sort of breakfast, I'm assuming that we skip the most of the vegetables. We have like eggs.
Okay, guys, one question at a time or nobody hears it. Sorry, Bob.
Listen up, guys.
So for sort of breakfast, if we relax in mostly vegetables, because so most people eat like eggs, you know, like
Oats.
it tends to be more sort of protein at breakfast.
Yep.
Yeah, of course, protein at breakfast, especially for us. The way you train, such high intensity, okay, that we need protein to recover, okay, and to repair the muscle fibers. So when we sleep, when we're in deep sleep, that's when the body starts recovering, okay. And what's the main macronutrient for recovery? Protein. So when we wake up in the morning from an 8 hour, hopefully 8 hours of fasting, the first thing your body's going to need is protein, okay. So if you wake up in the morning for breakfast, we need a lot of protein on our plate, okay? Hence, eggs. So if you have eggs, first thing that comes into your body is eggs. From the moment you wake up, that's going to benefit you so much more. You're going to feel so much better and have so much more energy as well. Go ahead, Roy.
What about protein powders? They have ingredients.
Long list.
yeah.
Aim to chop them out for 4 weeks. Protein powders out for 4 weeks.
That's a great question, really. So no protein powder.
Just to go back to Bob's question on what to have, like in terms of veg for breakfast, make it look as close to that as you can. You might need to change it a little bit. So to take eggs for example, that's your protein. You can have some spinach, that's some veg. Mix it in depending on. Frittatas are going to be great for breakfast. You can throw in potatoes, you can throw in eggs, you can throw in other veg. It all tastes really good. Berries are a great option for breakfast. The fresher the better. I'm going to finish out this sentence and I'll come back to that because it does lead in. Berries as much as you can for breakfast as well. Yeah, they're not veg, but they're like packed with micronutrients, like, so they're very good to have. Porridge we're going to count as long shelf life. It's processed. It's very easy to eat a lot of it, which is our whole thing in the reset and just building good habits. So porridge will be out for the 4 weeks.
Smoked salmon.
Oh, yeah. Love that.
Is that not
But out
processed?
for the week.
But out
For 4 weeks. It's processed. You can cook salmon, fresh beef, all that kind of thing. But smoked meats, try and avoid. Any other questions, guys? Emer, I think. Yes.
That's what vegans eat, I'm sure.
This is kind of big.
It's going very natural, like I haven't dealt with much vegan clients in my time, so I'm not sure about going with diets. But in regards to like invest in meals,
it's going to be tougher. You're going to have to do a lot more food prep. Now, I'm going to break this rule a little bit in terms of lentils and pulses. They're going to have a long shelf life, but it's either that or not eat protein. So I'd rather have somebody eat protein than not. So lentils, the less processed food, the better is what you're going to aim for. I don't want to say avoid tofu because again that could be a big part of your protein intake for the week, but the least processing food or least processed foods the better. So chickpeas that aren't in a can, lentils that aren't in a can, that kind of thing would be a good go-to for proteins.
Do any alcohol like beverages fit into this plan at all?
They do not.
No, okay.
Because unless you're making them yourself at home and you know exactly where the ingredients came from.
In my handbag.
And chances are you don't have enough time in 4 weeks to do that. Sorry. Or that.
I'll just try smoking. Okay.
Cauliflower? Yeah, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
If you're making it yourself.
it's real. It is. No, that's so easy to make yourself.
Just
Cauliflower
a
rice.
grater.
Yeah, just
Partially cook it so it's a little bit solid still and just grate it. That's pretty much what cauliflower rice is.
Yeah.
It's the texture, it's the name.
Coconut, you know, a few people were experimenting with kind of smoking and cooking.
everything.
Paleo baking.
Yeah.
Is that in now?
I see if you're like coconut oil for
No,
cooking.
if you get just sort of coconut, you can make basically cakes. Flour.
So to focus on Bob's question for the moment, paleo baking, it relies a lot on coconut, grated coconut, ground coconut, that kind of thing. Almond flour, they're all very processed, both of those. So they'd be off the list for this. The main reason I don't like paleo baking is you're going to eat as much of it as if you just went to the shop and bought a real cake, for want of a better way of calling it something.
Yeah, right. Packs calories.
Yeah, they're heavy in calories. They might taste good, and it's a nicer ingredient list, but they're as calorific as actual cake. Now, just to say as well, I might be jumping ahead. You might be going to say that.
No, you go for it.
Aim for this for like 80%. If you're thinking, I can't survive 4 weeks without cake, just to pick on cake for a second. Once a week, every 2 weeks, plan in to have that cake, to have that burger, to have that whatever the thing is you're craving. If it's a case of having that once in 2 weeks or once in 4 weeks rather than not do this, have that cake once a week even rather than once every 2 weeks. You will still get a huge benefit from doing this rather than, oh crap, I can't have any cake. Have some cake once a week.
But the oil, like
Olive oil, perfect. Again, the least I know it's processed, but the least processing, the better. Don't go for vegetable oils. Those things are nasty. Coconut oil, natural oil, so coconut oil, olive oil, that's what I'm missing. Butter, sesame seed, be okay. But the vegetable oils, vegetables really don't produce oil. Sorry? Butter is fat. It's just fat. Milk, you're going to have carbohydrates coming in with it as well. Sorry? I know, but it's just a fat portion of it. I'll take out milk and butter if you want to.
Go for it, Jared. Listen up, guys.
On the number of meals, you mentioned that we should have 3 meals a day, but the diet that I was planning to follow has 6 meals a day. But they split it across the 3 hours. Every 3 hours, you eat something. Would it need to be a problem?
That's fine. You could go like so. Sorry, the question for anyone that's watching the video later on: 3 meals a day is what Mark was talking about earlier. Jerry's asking like he's planning on having 6 meals a day. That could be 3 snacks. You could count them as snacks. There is no problem having 6 meals a day. They'd just be smaller than the 3.
Very smaller, yeah.
That's fine. Just smaller plates, same shape.
What about fresh juices and smoothies?
That you make them? Oh yeah.
Anybody wants any? I'll bring it.
See, that's the thing, guys.
Totally.
In the WhatsApp group chat, when you put up a pic, if you make something, you're all like, oh, that's good, and that suits all the 3 main points here. Send it into the group chat because that could be helping someone else. Because you don't know, the person beside you probably doesn't have a clue how to cook. So by you sending in a picture that takes 2 seconds will help someone else. That's why we're doing it as a group, and the social support is massive for something like this because you don't know what the person beside you is like. behind the cooker or even knowing what ingredients are. They can have no background whatsoever. So by you just sending a simple photo or saying, hey guys, I made these, I'll bring them in on Friday, which we'll talk about in a moment, and I'll share them around, that's going to help someone else. That's why it's so good by doing it in a big group like this. Because you train, like I said in this post this morning, you train together, and it's savage. When you come in here and everyone's smashing out lifts and all, the person's always like, go on, get that lift. You're always motivating each other. So now it's time to do that in your diets and outside the gym. Okay, so it's time to motivate each other and push each other and talk to each other in the gym. Yeah. Get And this is very difficult to do. We know that. This is going to be very difficult. It's one of the hardest nutrition challenges to do because it's a reset. Okay, because we're just going to start from basics again. After the 4 weeks, we'll start from basics. So if you do end up having a cheeky Halo ice cream or a cheeky bar, don't go, oh, fuck this, I'm going to have another one. I might as well. That box isn't getting ticked today, so I'm just going to have another one, okay? Don't do that. Treat it. Derek said this to me the other day, and I thought it was class. He was like, treat it as a treat, not a cheat. Okay, so if you have that cheeky bar and you're like, oh, I had to have it, it's okay. Say, no, I fucking deserve that. I'm not going to have another one. And then walk away. Do you know what I mean? That's going to benefit you a lot more in the long run with your eating. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
You really high macros. It's easy to hit them when you're eating like porridge and really kind of, you know, how do you hit those high macros with vegetables? Vegetables, when you put them into the app, is always lower. So you just have to heaps more, or is there any tips of stuff you can put into your meals to kind of hit them faster? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I wouldn't really focus on your macros too much for this. I wouldn't go counting anything for this. Okay, because it is a reset. Maybe after the reset you can start counting again. But for this, what I would do is definitely stack your vegetables as high as you can. As much variety in your vegetables. Don't just stick it to loads of broccoli because you'll get sick of that after 3 days. Okay, so lots of variety in vegetables. Don't count for the 4 weeks. What else would I say?
Like if that's for your protein, if that's steak, if that's like a quarter plate of potatoes and then all the vegetables, and you've got a teaspoon of butter on there as well, that's going to count up pretty high in calories. Like 10 grams of butter is about 100 calories in itself, like, so that's a small teaspoon of it.
It's really big when you're big
How does the app work then? Like, I've never seen
Okay, yeah, so the app. So, because it's the first time using this app, the Whatify Rise app, you're gonna have, do I have it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna have that laid out. All right. There's gonna be a little circle or box, and you just click it. Just that's all you do. So if you ate real food today, every meal you have is real food. There's a point. So there's 4 points per day.
But it has to be everything you eat. You don't put in what you eat.
No, there's none of this track and log and stuff. So it's actually pretty easy.
It's yes and no.
Yes and no, exactly. And then not too much. Did you have around 3, or did you have like 10 meals? Then obviously you wouldn't. Okay. 10 big meals. You know what I mean? That's being dramatic. But anyway, 3 meals a day, not too much, and fruit and veg in your snacks. Okay. Mostly plants. Was the plate mostly plants, or was your eating throughout the day mostly plants? So yes. And then did you sleep 7 hours? Yeah, I know that's gonna be difficult, but this is where your gains are made. Okay.
So you can make like 3 out of 4 points a day. Or
Yeah.
how many points is this?
There's 4 points per day, so if you obviously don't do any of this, you get no points per day.
You could make like 3 or 2.
Yeah.
You could have the best night's sleep you've ever had and then fall down on food, you get 1. Yeah.
Just back to the food again. With the carbs, what's the good example? We're not let the don't get 0.3 with rice, do we?
Yeah.
No, that's
obviously pasta very much.
Potato.
yeah.
This is your driver.
What?
This is your driver here in terms of what kind of carbohydrates.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Starch carbs. All carbs.
So vegetables are technically carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Starch.
So is rice in or out?
Rice is out.
That rice will sit on the shelf for
So I go
years.
I can't have a bowl that's got the sort of better brownie rice and stuff.
You can, you just can't score your point from that day.
So I have to get like a salad bowl.
Yes.
The starch or carbs you have will be your sugars. So like sweet potatoes, spuds, yam.
Yeah, pumpkins, butternut pumpkins, any of those kind of things, yeah.
Butternut squash, zucchini,
Eggplant.
celeriac.
All vegetables. The more the fibres, the better, and starchy ones, as Sean is saying, they're the ones you're going to focus on for your carbs. Yeah.
Ah, good, okay. Yeah, so listen, over the 4 weeks you may go out for a meal. So, little tip for when you're going out for a meal is have the sauce on the side. Okay? Really good. Yeah. And then put it on. Sauce on the side, for sure. Add extra vegetables. Costs €1 to €2 to add another bowl of, to add another bowl of vegetables. You can eliminate the carbohydrates on the plate. You can design that meal as you want in a restaurant, believe it or not. You can say, can I take out that, can I add in this? And they will allow you. So play around with the meals as much as you can when you're eating out. Definitely water for your table, you know yourself, keep drinking water, that's going to help.
How much water would you recommend a day? Like 2 liters?
Yeah, 1.5 to 2 litres a day. I'm not sponsored by Dunn's. I just happen to be shopping about. They're selling the big kind of 2 litre containers, reusable bottles. They're plastic, yes, but they're reusable bottles. They've got lunch boxes. They've got the whole lot over there. So other shops are doing the same. Get a big bottle, fill it up, 1.5, 2 litres, start of the day. Make sure that's empty by night time. It's the easiest way to do it.
Dave, do you get points for mincemeat? That's a techniques process.
Do you guess?
No, I'm up there with that.
That was about the third point that he was once alive. Yeah, so meat was running around with his family. So
So Dave's asking, again for anyone watching the video later, Dave's asking, is mincemeat okay? If it's just beef, yes. Yes, it's processed, but unless you brought the cow into the room and killed it yourself, so is all beef. So if it's just beef and it's minced, that's cool. Don't kill cows at home. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So for proteins, fresh meat, fresh poultry, fresh fish.
With soups, do you know, we're making like butternut squash soup, potato soups.
Yeah.
Is that all with like your protein is your stuff?
That's all good. Soups are made with water.
They count as in like
Yeah.
so we have some children as a snack.
Yeah.
That's a meal technically, I suppose. Because now make sure you're getting protein in there. Because if you've made vegetable soup, the base is potato, sweet potato, butternut squash, whatever it is, like there's other veg in there. That's very vegetable heavy, which is good, but you've got very little protein in there. So for one meal, that's cool. That's fine. You know, you can still tick all your boxes. Just you won't have a lot of protein in there. So as long as all your meals aren't drifting like that, make sure you're getting in protein.
No stock cubes, because you can leave the stock cube up on the shelf for as long as you want. And so soups are really good. Soups are really good at it.
I was going to pick on a point that was made, I won't say who, it's going to be a very expensive reset. It doesn't have to be. Lidl and Aldi are fantastic. The price wars that are going on are fantastic for this kind of thing. The 49-cent veg, whatever veg offers that they're doing. Depending on the week and what they have, and our local shops as well. But you can pick up a lot of veg for not a lot of money. Like, genuinely. And you can get in your plants. Proteins are probably the more expensive part of this. But again, it's not overly expensive. If you're buying steak mince, it's cheaper than fillet steak. You're going to get as much benefit out of it.
If you buy the full box as well, it's cheaper. Chicken breasts, they sell
Yeah,
like
definitely,
25
yeah. If anyone's living in Kildare, like, you know, or around Kildare. Farm food. Kildare farm food. You can buy bulks of meat for cheap. Bulks of meat. Grassland.
If we go down the cinema, they do these packs of frozen grapes instead of ice cream.
In the cinema? Do
Yeah,
they?
packs of frozen grapes there. These are supposed to be healthier. Are they off? Right.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen them. Next time you're in, spin around the packet. If it just says grapes, good to go. It says grapes and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, back in the freezer. Unless that's your treat for that week and you're not going to score your point.
If your peanut butter is just peanuts, like if you turn this, like you turn the list and there's just peanuts in the peanut butter.
Yeah, that's okay. Sorry. Question for Dave. If peanut butter ingredient list is just peanuts, I'm okay with that. Be very, very careful. You will eat a lot of calories very quickly.
Yeah.
I want to ask about the 7+ hours.
Yeah.
In order for you to score that, what do you have to take into consideration? The time you went to bed and you woke up, or the real time is left? Because I have an imaginary child that wakes me up every 1 hour, 2 hours.
That's a really good question.
It's horrible, so I don't know how to calculate.
That's a really good question. If you don't have a tracker watch,
I do have
suppose
the first one.
the first one.
It's whatever time you go to.
It's apps, isn't it?
Because sometimes, like, I went to bed, you know, and I stayed there for 8 hours and I slept 3.5 hours.
Scrolling through cooking videos.
So, you know, I wake up all the time. It's horrible.
I go with the. I went to bed and lay down with the intent of going to sleep, and I got up whatever time is in between there. If I get up for 3 hours in the middle of that and start cleaning the house, I can't count that. But if I'm lying in bed and can't sleep, it's still valid. You're recuperating, you're resting. You're trying to get that sleep. So whatever time you actually go to bed at and then get up, that's the time.
Okay.
Have your eyes closed.
That's Sam Burke.
Any other questions, guys? We've held you for over half an hour. Any other questions before we go?
Little bit of popcorn.
Yeah, I have time.
Yeah. Okay, if anybody needs to register the app, make sure you do. The link is in the locker room. We can register over here before you run out the door. We can take your measurements now as well before you go.
Okay.
Any other questions? No?
Talk in the group, support each other, and enjoy yourselves, guys. Thank you very much.